All right, welcome for those who are just joining us. This is the Virtual College Exploration STEM Days in partnership with Cachet. This is the Lafayette information session. Thanks for being here. I'm going to kick us off with some housekeeping items. First, there's more sessions hosted by Cachet through Thursday evening, so feel free to check back on our website for additional sessions. When you register for these sessions, you do get a barcode in that confirmation email, but know that that barcode is not necessary for any of the virtual events that you participate in. We are recording all of these sessions and posting them on our website shortly after the session concludes. So whether you want to rewatch a session you participated in or watch one that you may have missed, just check back on our website for that information. And you will see and hear the Lafayette team. Unfortunately, they cannot see or hear you all. This is webinar style format. So any questions you have throughout the presentation, feel free to type those into the Q&A box and the team will do their best to answer those throughout the presentation. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Kathleen to get us started. Thanks, Kathleen.
Thank you so very much, Jen. Hi, everyone. My name is Kathleen Williams. I'm the Director of Admissions for the West Coast for Lafayette College. With me today are Dr. Jennifer Kelly, who is the Director of the Arts at Lafayette, and Eleanor Williams, no relationship, but you know, should make a great kid because she's multi-talented. So they're each going to talk to you a little bit about themselves. They're going to kick it back to me for some housekeeping so that you know what's going on from our perspective. And then we'll get rolling on the presentation. Take it away, Dr. Kelly.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Kelly. I have been at Lafayette College for about 14 years now. I'm a professor in the music department, actually, and among teaching music and gender and the neuroscience of music with a neuroscience colleague of mine, I also have the two choral ensembles, so I'll be able to give some information about that. And then about 5 years ago, I took over the position of Director of the Arts. So anything that you want to know about the arts, I either will be able to let you know the answer, or I can tell you how to find the answer, or I'll find the answer for you. So looking forward to this. Eleanor.
I'm Eleanor. I'm an incoming junior, double major in mechanical engineering and theater. I've done work backstage theater, and I'm also starting a technology fellowship with Dyer, so I'm excited about that.
Terrific. So what's going to happen here today is we want you to ask questions, so feel free to type them at any time. We're going to hold the questions until the end. It is our hope to get to them all, but if we don't, rest assured that StrideScan will give us those questions and we will email you if we haven't had a chance to get to them today. So, I'm sorry if you hear dogs in the background. Welcome to the virtual world, right? So this is Lafayette College. We are located in Easton, Pennsylvania, a town of about 30,000 people. Lafayette College is a liberal arts and engineering school. It is a place most assuredly that blends STEM and the arts. Next slide, please. As we said, you are with Jennifer Kelly from the Director of the Arts. I'm Kathleen Williams, and student Eleanor Williams is with us. Next, please. So who is Lafayette? Well, we are an applied liberal arts school. What the heck does applied liberal arts mean? It means that we are a school that takes what you learn in school and we really do apply it to the real world. So there are 4 divisions: engineering, the social sciences, the natural sciences, and the humanities. We do not admit by major. We admit by person. We have a 10-to-1 faculty to student ratio. There are multiple areas of study. We're Division I. We have Greek life. We have over 200 clubs and organizations. But most importantly, we are a community that allows you to not lose one passion for another. And Eleanor couldn't be a better example of that. Somebody who's both a mechanical engineering major and a theater major. Next slide, please. So we are about 2,700 students. The students hail from all across the country, from multiple countries. We're artists, researchers. We're passionate. When they're on campus, there's this palpable feeling that you get from them. It's an energy. So For any of you who have been to New York City has that buzz that you can feel. It's not like that. It's a different kind of energy, but it's a very positive energy that you feel. So students are usually decked out in Lafayette gear. They're opening doors for you. I'm often asked, is it a competitive place? Well, the students are competitive with themselves for sure. They're a smart bunch, but they are super collaborative with one another, and they definitely celebrate in each other's successes. So if that appeals to you, then Lafayette may be a good place for you. There is no hiding at Lafayette, right? Our average class size is 18.6. We want you participating both in the classroom and out of it in this wonderful community. Next slide, please. This is Easton, the town of 30,000. You can actually see the arts campus from down here. Lafayette College sits up on College Hill, which is in the back, and down that center street to the right is the arts building, and you will see it's our downtown arts campus, and you will see other pictures of it. We like to say we're in the middle of everywhere. So Easton is less than 2 hours to New York City, about an hour and a half to Philadelphia. But Easton itself is this marvelously diverse, energetic city. For any of you who are foodies out there, you will absolutely not be disappointed. There are amazing restaurants to go to. In addition to our own art scene, we also have the State Theater that brings in lots of plays, groups, ensembles, lots going on. And for those of you who ever have picked up a crayon, the Crayola Factory is right there in Easton. We are named after the Marquis de Lafayette, who was a man well ahead of his time. We like to think of him as the first global citizen. He was a suffragist, he was a abolitionist, and he really was a person who believed in his convictions. And so our motto is "Turn On," which means why not? And in this case, why not embrace the arts, and why not embrace STEM or any other field? Next slide, please. So, STEM at Lafayette. Well, this is a slide that our director of engineering uses, and he says, this is the skill set, analytical skills. Our engineers are innovative, creative, they're deliberate risk takers, they're collaborative, and they're communicative. Guess what? That is absolutely the same mindset as an artist. And so we are now going to hear more about arts at Lafayette.
Thank you, Kathleen. So this is Lafayette Arts. And if after this presentation, if you just say to yourself, hey, I just kind of want to mess around and see what else they've got there, all you have to do is Google Lafayette Arts, and this is what's going to show up, and you can sort of wind your way through all of the website and figure out everything that we are. But what I thought I would do is start out with our academic departments and programs, and then go expand from there and let you know all of the different ways that somebody can participate. And I think the most important thing I want to say up front is that you don't have to be an arts major. You can be any major or any minor, any double major, anything that you want. You can still be the lead in the play. You can be the concert player in the orchestra. You can hold the camera in film and media studies. You can do anything that you like, regardless of your major. Now, having said that, you can major or minor in any of our arts. So I'll say both of those. So the first one that I thought I'd talk about is art. We have both art history and studio art. And the studio art building, I've got to say, it's called the Williams Visual Arts Building. It's probably still my favorite building on campus because it is simply a place to be creative. And even the bricks on the outside are made with wavy bricks. It's just the most amazing light-filled space. Within studio art, we've got drawing and painting, sculpture, photography, architecture, mixed media. We also have an experimental printmaking institute, which is internationally famous if you are interested in printmaking. All of our teachers at Lafayette and in the art department are artists in their own right. They're all artists, and they're the ones who are teaching the students, not TAs. If you are within art and you're interested in being part of an honors program, like for your senior year, we have a 1-year intensive mentoring one-on-one with an artist teacher, perhaps having your art in your own exhibition, things like that. There are also visiting artists galore with hands-on materials, and also with just question and answer where you get close and personal with all sorts of artists. And then we've got distinctive travel programs. You can be part of the Save Venice program, for example, and work on restoring art in Venice, Italy. So that's the art department. We also have creative writing. Now, creative writing is a program within our English department. The creative writing itself deals with fiction and poetry, screenwriting, playwriting, environmental writing, humor writing, spiritual writing, creative nonfiction. It really is designed to help the students explore who the students are, what the students think, what the students believe, and really help you find your voice. Lafayette College is very much a place about finding one's own voice, one's own point of view, and learning how then to communicate that point of view for yourself. Within creative writing, we also, they put out a literary magazine every year. There are open mics constantly. There are readings, writing competitions, writing marathon, certainly visiting writers that come to campus all the time. Even in this time of remote learning, Lafayette, as you might know, we're going to be all online learning in the fall. And yet all of our arts departments and programs have visiting artists virtually lined up throughout. So our students certainly will not be bored by any means. Moving on from the art department, we also have film and media studies, or if you hear me say FAMS, F-A-M-S, FAMS. Film and media studies really is about the combination of the theory and the practical of filmmaking. So they are the state-of-the-art facilities. There is a small production studio within Building 248 where FAMS mostly resides. We have 180-seat cinema, which is a fantastic space. In fact, sometimes they show films for the entire community where we'll bring in either guests or professors from other parts of campus to come and hold a discussion after the film. Everything from classic films to first run films. And I wanted to show you the best way that I can really explain about what the students do within these arts programs is to show you something that students made. So this is one of the showcases from a couple of years ago, created by a collection of FAMS students.
Action. My name's Christina Shaiman. I'm a 21-year-old filmmaker from Queens, New York. Right now, I'm at school in Easton, Pennsylvania, and I'm plagued by my liberal arts education. You see, I have this sick need to try and change the world. So, how am I going to do it?
I'm making a visual novel, a feature-length screenplay,
a psychological horror film,
sitcom using real-life stories, a documentary film about ethical dilemmas, a 15-year-old girl, student dress code, Jamaican artist, my mother's story
told through local musicians,
a theory-based paper exploring the hegemonic gender norms in different musical theater film adaptations.
The best way to just get the story out there is to make a film.
Pick projects that are ambitious. You have to pick a project that has, a tension, a controversy, something that you, not only that audiences will respond to, but you want to be able to be interested in that subject.
We had a unique opportunity to go to Clinton, New Jersey and work with the middle schoolers.
When you're holding a camera, whether you're using one of these or just holding it by your hand, the only thing you have to support the weight of your arms, right?
It was great to see the different things they were working on.
And a week or two later, they had the opportunity to come here. While they were in the pre-production process, we were in the pre-production process for our doc class. So it was great to actually go from learning one week to teaching the next week.
My project was about Safe Harbor, which was a homeless shelter in Easton, and one of the groups was actually working on a video about homelessness, so it was great to connect to them in that way.
And at the end of the day, we all got to sit down and talk about our projects and figure out the best ways to go about it from there.
It was just nice to see them so invested in these projects and ideas at such a young age.
The creative process is really hard, it's really taxing, and it takes a lot of time, but it's ultimately the most rewarding thing you can do.
Through the documentary film course, I rediscovered production and being in the filming environment, and I absolutely fell in love with it.
really don't realize how much detail and things you need to pay attention to until you actually do it.
You have to have a plan of like what your shot is going to look like, what, your mics are going to be, what the sound is going to be.
When you're in a production, you're in this like tight-knit family because you are just together so much and you're going through so much. You're going through this emotional journey.
The Making Media students in FAMS 201 had an assignment to recreate the famous Odessa step sequence from Battleship Potemkin.
Everything was kind of like happening at once. It was the first production class, like we were just getting the studio set up.
Everyone's gonna wanna speak, everyone's gonna wanna put their ideas out there.
It was a lot of different people and different ideas sort of violently coming together to make one thing. We wanted to get these like nice sweeping dolly shots in, and we couldn't really get that unless we had kind of like almost like a zip line camera thing. That's kind of what we came up with. It's pretty simple. It's just got the two pulleys here, which go along the rope.
It needed to be a 12-hour day, but we only had about 2.5 hours.
When it came time to be in the editing room afterwards, we were there all the time. We saw each other at our very best and at our very worst. Some of us even slept there sometimes. And when you see people in those states of emotional chaos, you learn so much about them as people. And we became each other's support system. And that didn't end when the semester ended. It's become ingrained in the FAMS major. You start out from the bottom together, and you build and you build and you build. And at the end of the day, we're a family.
So I'm going to stop it there for the moment, but to let everybody know if that's something that interests you, if you just want to explore more about some of the different showcases that come out of FAMS, for example, again, you can go to that Lafayette Art website and just kind of mess around and find film and media studies, and then you can click on showcases there. So it will be able to, you can see whatever you like. So for now, I'll move on to the music department. Music department is about both the performance of, the creation of, the making music of, and then also the theory, the history, the analytical of music, and music from all over the world. We also have private lessons. I find that there are a lot of students within STEM that are interested in private lessons and the ensembles. So the ensembles is really kind of what I want to emphasize. I was mentioning earlier, I have 2 vocal ensembles at Lafayette College, and about 2/3 of the students within both of those vocal ensembles are engineering majors. So they get to know each other, they become really tight, they're part of a family. Within the ensembles, we've got just about everything. If you grew up playing piano or playing violin, or you like jazz, orchestra, early music, contemporary music, choir, chamber singers, concert band, pep band, percussion, we have a fabulous percussion ensemble, I've got to say. So all of that stuff is possible. And remember, once again, you don't need to be a major in order to be a part of it. Don't need to be a minor, but you certainly can. And I thought I'd play just a little bit of a clip. This is from my group called Chamber Singers. This last spring, I'm not sure where your schools were, if you suddenly had to go to remote in the spring. Well, that's what Lafayette had to do midway through the semester, right? We were within 8 days, it's like all of a sudden remote instruction because of the pandemic that's going on. So we thought, well, we're a choir. What could we possibly do if we're going to be virtual? And the students came up with a real collaborative way to be together. It's not exactly a virtual choir if you've seen things like that, but this was a way where there was a lot of listening, a lot of discussion, and then they brought in their own photographs, etc. So I thought I'd just play a little bit of this. I won't play too much because I want to make sure we've got time for questions and things, but give you a little clip.
Stolen my heart. looked at me and I fell in
And I'll stop it there. Again, if you're interested in any of this, you can always go to the website and just kind of play around with it, find anything else that you like. Our theater department. Our theater is a really progressive theater department. I've got to say, I'm always very proud when I go to the theater productions that we do at Lafayette College. You can focus on acting, directing, playwriting, stagecraft. That's what Eleanor will be talking about a little bit later. They've got critical studies. They have productions throughout the year of all sorts of different opportunities. There's straight plays, they do a musical, there are radio plays, spoken word, there's all sorts of different genres. There are things that, that students direct as well. They're not all faculty directed, so there are lots of different opportunities to be involved with theater for anybody who's interested. Again, doesn't matter what your major is, but you can major if you like. And then outside of those academic departments and programs, we also have 2 professionally curated galleries, as well as an art study center that houses our art collections. And then we have another 2 small galleries within our Skillman Library. The galleries they are free for everybody. They're open to students. They're open to community. They're very well known. We have an exceptional director of galleries. And there are lots of guest artists. One of the benefits of being so close to New York City is that we have artists available for us within an hour-and-a-half drive away, you know, and so we have those kinds of opportunities. So in the art galleries, that is one where we take place. Also, the performance series, this is Wynton Marsalis. Wynton Marsalis's band was just here this last year. Performance series is again a professionally curated series of professional artists that come through Lafayette College, whereas there'll be tickets available for the community and for faculty and staff for these concerts. For students, it's all free. It is all free. These are amazing. The Taiko Japanese drumming is here every 3 years or so. It's one of the best shows, sells out like that all the time. So performance series, again, there are residencies for students to be involved. While we don't have an academic dance program, we do have 2 different student dance clubs, and we frequently have dance as part of the performance series, and so they make sure and have residencies for students who are interested in dance and can still be a part of that. So we really try to make sure that there are numerous opportunities for whatever you might be interested in. And then CAPA, I wanna make sure and tell you about CAPA. CAPA stands for Creative and Performing Arts, CAPA, C-A-P-A, Scholars Program. A CAPA scholar, it's competitive to come in. And again, it doesn't matter what your major is. It also doesn't matter if your particular art happens to be one of our academic departments and programs. It doesn't have to be. If your art, for example, is magic, which is definitely an art, or juggling, or whatever your art might be, you could apply to be a CAPA scholar. CAPA scholars, once accepted, receive $7,500 throughout their 4 years. But the good thing about this is that it doesn't go against the cost of tuition or books or housing or anything else. It is just for you, for your art. Again, doesn't matter what your major is. But if the criteria for CAPA is that you use it specifically to create art, find a way to give back to Lafayette, whatever that art is. You'll see somebody here with a camera. The camera was purchased with CAPA funds. We have helped folks buy keyboards. We've helped folks take music lessons, go into the city in order to study a particular thing or watch shows. We've sponsored travel. We've sponsored workshops all over the world. That money is something for you to grow and develop as an artist. And by the time you leave as a Kappa scholar, you will have developed the skills to come up with a project, to put a budget next to that project, to propose the project, get funded, see that project through to fruition, and then be able to self-assess. So no matter what you go into in life, you will have the kind of skills in order to keep your art moving if that is something of your interest. So I highly encourage you to check out Kappa Scholars. You can, through admissions, or again through the Lafayette Arts website, you can find out how to, more information on Kappa and how to apply. It's like a one-page application for that. All right, and then arts all over. There are arts all over. So I was talking about the academic departments and programs. Kappa is certainly for everybody. The art galleries, performance series is open to all students, but we have student organizations, just like a crazy number of students organizations. Art Society is probably, if not the most popular club on campus, definitely within the top 3 or 5 popular clubs on campus. We've got anime club, a cappella groups, there are arts houses that you can apply to live in, or the Mafia, that's what the students named it. Music appreciation floor is awesome. You could apply to live on Mafia floor also. There are really year-round creative activities, events, Unity projects. They're even going to figure out how to do one of the Unity projects virtually. So Art Society is a big thing, and you don't even have to participate in anything else within the arts departments and programs. If you want to be part of Art Society or anything else within those student clubs, you are certainly welcome to do so. I think what you're looking at here, this might be the step team or the salsa club. We have, yeah, there's an awful lot. There's a lot. There's so much to do. And then I just threw in a few slides here so you could see some of our facilities. This is at the very beginning. Kathleen was talking about within Easton on the bottom of the hill. As you go right up that hill onto campus, you come to the Williams Arts campus on the bottom of that hill. And that's what this is. That's where our theater department is. That's also where our cinema is in that complex. Here again, this is just another view of the arts campus, and that's my favorite building on campus. That is the Studio Art Building, Williams Visual Arts. It's got the wavy brick. It's kind of hard to see in this shot, but anyway, that's very, very cool. This is the Williams Center for the Arts. This is where the art history department is, the music department is, all of the ensembles, the performance series, one of our artistic galleries. So this really is a big hub, and this is on the main campus outside of the Williams Arts campus. Art at Lafayette is all over the place. The Experimental Printmaking Institute, EPI, is also a separate building on its own. I don't think I have a photo of that one, but it's kind of all over. And then Skillman, just because our library actually has won some architectural awards because it's so beautiful and really useful on the inside too. But this is Skillman, which houses a couple of smaller art spaces and is just a really nice space. So that pretty much ends my part of the talk. I'm going to turn it back over to Kathleen and then also to Eleanor to finish some things up. And I'm looking forward to hearing Eleanor give your perspective on what it's like being a student in the arts, and then we will have our Q&A.
Okay, so if you could take the next slide. Terrific. So Lafayette College, in addition to having these 4 divisions, engineering, social sciences, natural sciences, and humanities, where the arts fall, also has a lot of other support for you. So there's the Gateway Career Center, where you will be assigned a career counselor as early as your freshman year. There are pre-professional programs, so that if you have a desire to go to medical school, for example, know that if you graduate from Lafayette with a 3.6 or above, we have a 75% acceptance rate to medical school. If you graduate with a 3.2 to a 3.59, 64% acceptance rate to medical school. We are in the high 90s for acceptances to law schools. If you are somebody who has an interest in STEM and the law, very few lawyers have the capability to be both a hard sciences and engineering major and then go to law school. So if you want to do that, you can also sit for the patent bar. We have put students in the top 15 law schools, all of them with the exception of Yale. I'm not sure if Yale's just that picky or we're not applying. But whatever it is, they're in at Stanford, they're in at Harvard, they're in at all the great law schools over the last 3 years. The Dyer Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship really is a place that personifies this idea that you can blend STEM and the arts at Lafayette. So the young women that you see in the first row with the short hair. Her name is Becca, and she was a sociology and anthropology major and a music major. She studied abroad, as 60% of our students will do at Lafayette, including our engineering majors. So at Lafayette, if you're an engineering student, you have the opportunity to study abroad the second semester of your second year in either Bonn, Germany, or in Madrid, Spain. At any rate, Becca went to Indonesia, and she wanted to bake a cake for her host family. And when she went to do that, she had no measuring cup. So her cake was a disaster. So she got back to campus and was living on campus, as 96% of our students do. So this is a residential campus in the truest sense of the word. She was living in apartment living. She went to bake. She thought she had everything that she needed in her on-campus apartment. Went to bake, no measuring cup. Knocked on the door of her friend. Anybody have a measuring cup? Nobody has a measuring cup. So she laments to her friend, who happens to be a mechanical engineer, and says, I can't believe no one has a measuring cup. So she says, there ought to be an app. So he said, well, let's design one. And so they did. So the Dyer Center has lots of competitions. And in a prior life, I had my own business. So Youssef, who oversees that, said, Kathleen, can you come and judge? And I got the pleasure of judging when Becca's team was part of this Shark Tank-like competition. So long story short, she and her friend developed an app that you could use on your phone. And you would take a picture of any type of a container. It doesn't have to be clear, could be square, could be whatever it is. The phone takes the picture, you put into this app what you want measured, and it draws a line on that container. It is super cool. So they won $1,500 in our competition. They went on and against other Pennsylvania schools, won that competition, winning $3,500, which they used to hire their patent lawyer. So the Dyer Center also does a lot of programming to bring in patent lawyers, real estate people, insurance people, anybody that would help you start your own business. We also have angel, they're not investors per se, but they're people in the industry who would help you start a business. So at any rate, that is, again, another example of how the arts and engineering can come together at Lafayette. So next slide, please. So we are a Common App school. This next year, if you are applying and will be starting in the fall of 2021 as a student at Lafayette, we understand the pandemic has impacted your ability to get to the ACT or SAT. So we will be test optional for this. So if you are a rising senior, so applying as a senior to Lafayette, it's test optional, submit or don't submit. We do a completely holistic review of your application. So know that we are not an index school, right? We're meaning grades and test scores. That is not how we operate. We're looking at what you're going to contribute to this extremely vibrant campus that we have. We are one of the few schools in the country that meets 100% of demonstrated need. So if you are a domestic student, you are required to submit the FAFSA and the CSS profile. If you are an international student, you submit the CSS profile only. We are also a college that has, and we are only a college, by the way, so roughly 2,700 students, all undergraduate. That means all research opportunities are yours and yours alone with the professors, and you're always taught by professors. We have no grad students, so they're not teaching classes that they will at many other schools. So no, you're always going to be taught by a professor, and our professors really, in large part, treat you like colleagues in the field of study that you are embracing. So we have merit scholarships that no special application for it. They are both, there's full tuition, half tuition, and quarter tuition merit scholarships. Next slide, please. We have regular decision and early decision. So our early decision deadline is November the 15th. Our regular decision deadline is January 15th. If you have decided after November 15th, but you have applied by January 15th, that gosh darn it, you wish you had applied early decision, you can convert your application to early decision 2 by letting us know by February 1st. Next slide, please. I think is going to get to the questions, exactly, of which we have some. So want to make sure that we get to those. The first question was, which I will take, what percentage of students are involved in Greek life? Would you say it dominates the social scene? First of all, Shayna, you cannot rush at Lafayette until after your first year. So you have loads and loads of friends already. It is certainly not necessary to go Greek at Lafayette because we're not very big, but it's there if you want to. About a third of our students participate in Greek life, about 2/3 don't. So as a result, clearly you're not a party of one if you don't want to go Greek, and it is really not as depicted in the movies. So definitely it's there for you. Greek life does a lot of wonderful philanthropic work, but it absolutely does not dominate the social scene. It is part of the social scene, but it is not dominant.
I'll jump in real quick here about the Greek life, is that if Greek life is something that you want to participate in, it is absolutely there for you. If it is not something that you don't want to participate in, there are plenty of other opportunities to find your people in other places. I guarantee it. The arts is a big part of that.
Terrific. And so the next question I would say is to you, Jennifer. Denise would like to know, if you don't have a lot of experience with art, will it make it more difficult to pursue an art major?
Not necessarily. It would depend in which direction you wanted to go. What I would do is when you first walked in the door, if you're just like, you know what, I'll just pick something out. I've always wanted to play the cello. I've never played the cello before, but now it's my opportunity. Yes, tell somebody, you know what, I want to play the cello. And whether or not you are ready for the orchestra yet, because you've never picked it up before, you could still get started, right? So this is a place to explore, to try different things, and then see where you land, see what makes sense for you in terms of major, minor, or just being a participant. But you can absolutely start from something that you've never done before and still be a part of the arts.
So we have another question. Do you have similar presentations for the engineering department and social science department? The answer is yes. I have done this presentation with our director of engineering, and if you send, I know I have your question, so I can send you the link to that video. We also have a lot of virtual events going on. I believe tomorrow is social sciences, which are student presentations at on our website, so admissions@lafayette.edu. Eleanor, I want to kick a question to you. How are you, because I'm sure engineering majors out there are wondering, how are you balancing being both a theater and mechanical engineering major?
Good question.
It's actually a little bit easier than you would think, because Lafayette is a liberal arts school. They require a common course of study plus your major classes. So my engineering major classes are very specific, but theater double dips with quite a bit of the common course of study. So it's not as difficult as you would think. Yeah.
Great. Jennifer, do you need to audition for the jazz ensemble if not a music major?
The jazz ensemble is, you need to play for the head of the jazz ensemble for sure. There's more of a placement than an audition in. We have some ensembles that are select, and other ensembles are mostly for placement.
And the next question, who reviews the art supplement submitted with an application? I can assure you, Jared, it is not I who is doing that. We send those art supplements to the experts in the whatever.
Yes, within the arts. Within the arts, we're the ones who get them. Things for music, I'll get the ones for music as well as my other colleagues in music. The same goes for art, for writing. Yeah.
Next question: do you take art portfolios into consideration during the admission process? We do. If you an art portfolio, we are getting input from the experts in the art department to let us know, what your talent is and how it will contribute to this rich fabric at Lafayette. Did you have anything to add to that, Dr. Kelly?
I just wanted to say that yes, that's something that the professors that we really appreciate, is that we can view some work from an incoming student, from a prospective student, and the admissions will pay attention to our feedback based on that. So I think that's great. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. question, are we open this fall? And if so, can you visit? So the Lafayette is bringing students back on the 17th, and that is a time not to visit. We do not have formal visitation right now. And after they get settled in, we may go to that, but it just really, we're at the mercy of our governor right now in terms of what's being said for COVID. And our first responsibility really is to keep the community safe. So definitely checking our website. We have virtual visits in the sense that we will have students who will take you live on a tour. So not just the tour that's canned that we have for Lafayette, but we have so many virtual events going on that you will be able to speak to students and actually see them taking you around the campus. Should you submit a portfolio in your admission if you are considering a major in STEM and the art? Absolutely. Definitely.
Also consider Kappa. Also consider applying for Kappa.
Yep, there you go. But we do not, remember, we do not admit by major, right? So you literally could come to Lafayette thinking that you were going to be a sociology major. You take your first year, but you've always sort of liked engineering. So you take an introduction to engineering and you just fall in love. And you also take, oh my gosh, I took a drama class. Who knew there was an actress in me, right? You can become the theater engineering major. We will encourage you to do that. Our motto is cur non, which means why not? Why not do this and that? Why not push yourself academically? Why not move way, way outside your comfort zone to experience new things? I mean, that is really the personification, I think, of Lafayette. Do you have partnerships with engineering firms for internships? And can you talk more about the Bonn, Germany study abroad for engineers? Is it a study at a university and an internship? Eleanor, did you study abroad?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and you would have been cut short anyway because it would have been just this last spring, right? So we do not have partnerships per se with engineering firms here. We have career counselors at Lafayette who will be assigned to our engineers if that is what you think you're going to major in. And we have so many opportunities to do externships and internships with companies literally across the globe. I was, part of my territory is also international, and I literally got an email from a 2006 graduate of Lafayette. He's a civil engineer from Turkey saying, I want you to send me kids for internships. How can I be involved? And that is really the Lafayette way. We have an amazing alumni association. So our alumni are always wanting to hire Lafayette kids because they know they're smart and they know that they have the ability to pivot because they have this great liberal arts and background that really, the difference I think when you're exposed to both STEM and the arts at a place like Lafayette is it does allow you to pivot. And so while others may be individual contributors in a company, you're being trained at Lafayette to lead and to expand and to explore. And it is the reason why Lafayette students are amazingly successful. Yes, and so I can't talk to you specifically about the Bonn, Germany study abroad program, but I know the person who can. And so please know that I will get back to you, Ryan, with more information about that.
I'm wondering, we have 1 minute left, and I'm wondering if Eleanor wants to have any final thoughts about the fellowship program that you're in.
About which program?
The fellowship program that you're in for engineering and theater.
Yeah, so the theater's technical director reached out to me actually a couple weeks ago saying that he had, a couple years ago, he had tried to have a fellowship set up with specifically between the theater and engineering departments. And a couple years ago, it was 2 mechanical engineers, and basically they just worked on building sets. And seeing as how that wasn't exactly productive, they didn't end up having it last year. But this year he decided that he wanted to bring it up again. So it's going to be me and one ECE, which is an electrical computer engineering major. And we're going to work to try to bring theater online so that it can reach out to everyone. It'll be actors from home. We've got several shows in the works right now. This one is Everyman, which is student directed, written by brought up in modern times Zoom. Another one is Emma, which is a musical over Zoom. And the last one will be a radio show that'll be over the radio in Easton. So all the fun stuff.
So you're going to help out with that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Terrific. So for all of you who have asked me for me to send you links, happy to do that. And absolutely can do that. There are some other questions. Is it possible to receive a full tuition and housing and financial aid when you apply regular decision? It's possible to receive, and we meet 100% of demonstrated need, whether it's full tuition because of your financial need or whether you receive a fellowship from us, which is a full tuition scholarship, is to be determined, but certainly, yes, absolutely, regular decision and early decision. Are we able to contact professors or students regarding a specific major? Yes, our professors are accessible, so are our students. So if you would like to know, if you would like me to put you in touch with certain people, I am happy to do that. Know that it's kind of a little bit of busy time right now, and as much as the students are starting on the 17th, but the professors will get back to you, as will the students. And again, check out our virtual events. And let's see, I see Jen back. Are we out of time?
Yep, we sure are.
Okay.
But I will, to the audience, I'll make sure that the Lafayette team gets all of the questions that were answered. So as Kathleen said, some of you were requesting links. They could follow up personally with you all just to make sure that you got everything answered. But we want to thank you so much for spending time with us. And thank you so much to the Lafayette team for being here and sharing this valuable knowledge to the audience. As you exit the Zoom webinar, you will be taken to a quick survey. So we'd love to hear your feedback. It's only 4 questions, so it shouldn't take too much time at all. And then as I mentioned in the beginning, all of our recordings will be available on our website, and we have sessions through Thursday evening. So feel free to continue to check out the schedule and inquire further with colleges and universities with Cachet. So thank you once again for everyone, and I hope everyone has a great morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye.